can go live in both places. Okay, I'm live on Instagram too. I'm also live on Facebook over here on my laptop. So thank you guys so much for joining. I'm actually going to be talking about trust sales today. It's something that has recently come up with a potential client of mine, and John and Melissa were like, that's an awesome topic for Get Real. You should definitely get on and talk about that. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm trying to make it so these are like the same angle. Sorry, guys. Okay, perfect. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be talking about a trust sale, what the difference is between selling a house that's in a trust, and then in turn, obviously, that would apply to buying a house that's in a trust as well, if that's something you're interested in. But I'm going to give everyone a couple seconds just to get on, and we'll get started. So as you guys know, I mean, it's Team Steele, but that doesn't just mean that it's a team of us realtors. We have Jordan, who's not a realtor. She's our admin assistant. She makes sure everything is coordinated on the back end, and she does a very fine job of it, might I add. But we also have a transaction coordinator. Her name's Helen. If you've worked with us, you've definitely worked with her before as well. And then, you know, we have escrow companies, title, a couple of other people that are going to be a part of the transaction with us. So it's not always just one person that you commit to. When you commit to working with a realtor, you're committing to working with their team. Sometimes that also means their lender if you're on the buy side. We have two awesome lenders that we work with, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that, what lending looks like, you know, basically how much you can afford, when you can do it, etc. But the question that came up with my recent meeting was that the property was in a trust, or is still in a trust, and this was the trustee of that sale. The person who owned the house had passed away, so she's now kind of prepping it to get sold, and had a couple questions. I think they were great questions, so that's why I'm here to share them with you guys. And basically, she's been working with her lawyer, which is something that's very common when you have a trust sale. There's going to be a lawyer involved who has either, you know, drafted that trust or had worked with the owner before they passed, or however it's set up. And so, sorry, I'm getting some messages coming in. So her question was, you know, my attorney has advised me that a trust sale is more complicated than most, and I want to make sure that you are comfortable with that. And so we actually, as a team, Team Steele we have a listing that's already on the market right now, and it's held in a trust. So the answer was, of course, yes. This is something that we have done before, we're currently doing, and we will certainly do in the future more. And so it's not something that we can't handle for whatever reason. It's something that's pretty common. For instance, John and Melissa's house is held in a trust. So it's something that, you know, whether you're young or old, is common. And it's just a way you have your estate plan set up. So whether that's in a will or it's set up in a trust. And so the first question I would have for anybody who is a trustee or is, you know, putting their house into a sale that's held in a trust would be, what type of trust is it? So is it a revocable or irrevocable trust? Is it a living trust? There's a couple different kinds of trusts that it can be held in. And along with finding that out, you want to know exactly who the trustee is. So, you know, who's the decision maker on that trust. And so really, without knowing that, we can't give a ton of information. But, you know, if you can find out those few things, you obviously want a copy of the trust. There's a couple other advisories or disclosures that we have to disclose to potential buyers. And so that's called a trust advisory, pretty common. So a couple extra steps, but overall, it's really not that complicated. I even reached out to our transaction coordinator, Helen, who I, you know, spoke before. She's part of the Team Steele team. You know, when you're working with us, we have a transaction coordinator, you have title, you have insurance. I mean, there's a lot of different moving parts. Helen's really going to deal with a lot of that side of it. So I've, you know, gave her a call, and she said, yeah, it's really not that complicated, just a couple extra steps, but it's really nothing out of the ordinary. Just something, again, that you want to just be making sure everyone is informed, educated, and you're giving the right disclosures to everybody involved. Other than that, sometimes there can be a little bit of timeline issue depending on if the attorney or the court has to find a family member, for instance, that may be a trustee. If they've been gone for a long time or they're not, registered or off the grid. Sometimes you'll be amazed at the crazy stories we hear as real estate agents of the stuff you have to get through to sell a house. So, for instance, that would be something that could hold you up. If you can't find a family member to sign off on selling that property is not going to get sold and you can't buy it until that happens. So that's something to think about. Another thing is going to be, if there are two trustees, say a brother and a sister, they have to battle it out. When that house goes, to be sold, there has to be an agreement by both trustees, by both beneficiaries, that they're okay with that house being sold. So if there's some sort of, back and forth between brother and sister, maybe husband and ex-wife at this point, it could be so many different factors. Those are really where you're going to start seeing the issues, and that's why for us the most important thing is finding out what type of trust and who is the trustee, and that way we can advise and we can navigate that process as best as possible from there. But that's pretty much it. I don't think anybody has any questions. If you do, please leave a little comment below and I can answer them for you. I had to look in a little bit into the difference between a revocable and irrevocable trust, living trusts. And really the obvious difference is that a revocable can be changed. So, say you want to alter it at some point, you can do that and you can take property in and out of it. But if it's irrevocable, it's essentially set in stone. It's not revocable. Oh, that's interesting. So Facebook just cut off my live. I guess I'm ending that here, but I hope that was of value to you guys, maybe something you don't normally think about. But if you have any questions, please feel free, as always, to DM us, to give us a call, shoot us an email, team@Steele San Diego Homes. Check out our website, steelesan-diegohomes.com. And yeah, we'd love to assist you in your trust sale or answer any other questions that you guys may have. Hope you're having an awesome Friday and you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Talk to you guys soon.